Code Geass, the anime that took the world by storm with its twists, turns, and over-the-top drama. But what if I told you this fan favorite is actually not as great as you remember? Imagine combining Death Note's psychological battles with Gundam's mecha action, sprinkling in some Shakespearean drama, and setting it in a world of political revolution. That's Code Geass in a nutshell. Sounds epic, right? But here's the problem. It tries to do too much. The anime's themes of rebellion, morality, imperialism, and personal ambition are intriguing, but often feel half-baked. It starts out as a story about overthrowing a corrupt regime, but the focus constantly shifts. Lelouch's personal vendettas, school life antics, and bizarre supernatural lore all compete for attention. It's like trying to watch 5 different anime at once. Take the subplot about Ashford Academy. While the war against Britannia rages on, we suddenly cut to Lelouch organizing a school festival. The tonal dissonance is jarring and undermines the stakes of the larger narrative. Code Geass thrives on its characters, but that's also where it stumbles. Lelouch is the classic anti-hero genius, but his motivations flip-flop between noble and selfish so often it's hard to keep up. Is he a revolutionary or just a brat seeking revenge on daddy? Sometimes even he doesn't seem to know. And then there's Suzaku, the righteous foil to Lelouch, who wants to reform Britannia from within. Sounds admirable, but his actions contradict his ideals constantly, like joining Britannia's oppressive military while claiming to want peace. When Suzaku condemns Lelouch for killing civilians, but later orders a literal airstrike that causes collateral damage, you can't help but wonder, what's his moral compass even pointing to? Don't get me started on CC. While her mysterious nature is intriguing at first, the anime barely scratches the surface of her backstory. Instead, she's reduced to Lelouch's snarky sidekick/love interest. As for other side characters, many are one-note stereotypes like Nina's obsession with Euphemia or Rolo's borderline creepy attachment to Lelouch. Plot twists are Code Geass's bread and butter, but they're also its Achilles heel. Instead of building tension naturally, the anime throws twists at you like it's a fireworks show. Every other episode has a betrayal, secret reveal, or sudden death, and after a while, it stops feeling clever. Take the infamous Euphemia massacre. Lelouch accidentally commands Euphemia to kill all Japanese people during a slip of the tongue. This twist is shocking but feels contrived. It derails her character arc entirely and forces the story into chaos just to raise the stakes. And that's the thing. Code Geass thrives on shock value, but at the expense of emotional depth. Twists should enhance the narrative, not just exist to make your jaw drop. Pacing is another major issue. Code Geass crams so much into its 2 seasons that it often rushes through critical moments, leaving others to drag. A major plot arc can be resolved in a single episode, while filler-like school drama gets stretched out. The introduction of Rolo and his time-stopping gay-ass comes out of nowhere and feels like a cheap way to prolong the story. His character is shoehorned in, and his sudden sacrifice feels unearned, emotionally and narratively. Then there's the reliance on Deus Ex Machina. Lelouch's Geass conveniently works at the right moment. New technology gets introduced mid-battle to save the day, and CC seems to have an answer for every supernatural problem. It's exciting in the moment, but undercuts the stakes of the story. The ending. The infamous Zero Requiem. Lelouch sacrifices himself to unite the world and atone for his sins. It's bold, emotional, and undeniably memorable. But is it satisfying? Critics hail it as one of anime's greatest endings, but some fans argue it's just another shock twist dressed up as profundity. The sudden change in tone and rushed resolution leaves key questions unanswered, like what even was the point of Geass as a supernatural element in the story? Remember the hints about Geass origins and the mysterious code powers? The finale doesn't explore them meaningfully, leaving them as loose threads in an otherwise tightly woven conclusion. Code Geass is undeniably stylish. From its character designs by Clamp to the vibrant colors and over-the-top action scenes, it knows how to make an impression. But while the anime shines in key moments, the cracks show upon closer inspection. For an anime with so much action, Code Geass surprisingly cuts corners. Reused animations during mecha battles and awkward still frames can make even the most exciting scenes feel cheap. And don't get me started on the inconsistent art style. Characters' proportions change wildly from scene to scene, breaking immersion. Take the mecha battles. While some, like the fight between Kallen and Suzaku, are jaw-dropping, others rely heavily on repetitive sequences that feel more like a slideshow than a high-stakes war. The world of Code Geass is rich with potential, a dystopian future where Britannia dominates and rebellion brews. But instead of fleshing it out, the anime only scratches the surface. We're introduced to fascinating factions like the Chinese Federation and the European Union, but they're little more than backdrops for Lelouch's story. What's life like in these regions? What motivates their leaders? These questions are left unanswered. The Chinese Federation arc feels particularly rushed. Characters like Shinki and Tianzi are introduced with intriguing backstories, but their development is sidelined, and their conflicts are resolved far too quickly. And Britannia itself? While its imperialistic culture is central to the plot, we see little of its inner workings beyond the royal family. It's a missed opportunity to explore the societal divide between nobles and commoners, or the impact of its rule on colonies other than Japan. Let's talk about the fandom. Code Geass is beloved for its unforgettable characters, epic moments, and endlessly debatable ending. But has the fanbase overhyped its greatness? Many fans defend the anime's flaws as part of its charm. Over-the-top moments are iconic, rushed arcs are ambitious, and Suzaku's hypocrisy? Complex character writing. But are we excusing bad storytelling for the sake of nostalgia? Take the infamous Pizza Hut sponsorship. While the recurring shots of CC enjoying pizza have become a meme, they also highlight the tonal inconsistencies. The fandom embraced it, but does it really fit in a serious rebellion story? To the fandom's credit, their enthusiasm has kept the anime alive for years, from dissecting Lelouch's supposed survival to crafting fan fiction that fleshes out underdeveloped characters. But sometimes, the hype overshadows the anime's shortcomings. Code Geass tackles heavy themes, power, morality, and the cost of ambition. While it's commendable for trying to provoke thought, it often bites off more than it can chew. The anime prides itself on moral ambiguity, but sometimes it feels more like confusion. Lelouch's plans are ruthless, yet he's framed as a savior. Suzaku's ideals are noble, yet he's portrayed as a traitor. Instead of exploring these contradictions, the anime often leaves them unresolved, creating frustration rather than depth. The concept of sacrifice is central to the story, but it's rarely given proper weight. Euphemia's death, for instance, could have been a poignant commentary on the dangers of unchecked power, but it's overshadowed by shock value in Lelouch's subsequent actions. And what about Geass itself? The power to control others raises fascinating questions about free will and ethics, but these are barely explored. By the end, Geass feels more like a plot device than a central theme. So, is Code Geass a bad anime? That depends on your perspective. It's ambitious, exciting, and unforgettable, but also messy, inconsistent, and over the top. Its flaws are as big as its strengths, and that's what makes it such a divisive masterpiece. Do its epic moments make up for its shortcomings? Or is it just an overhyped roller coaster of chaos? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more in-depth anime critiques and hot takes.